Millions of mourners poured into the streets of Tehran on Monday, converging into a single human tide as the coffin of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, arrived at Azadi Square. It was the final day of public mourning in the capital after days of ceremonies honoring the Ayatollah, who was killed at the onset of the US-Israeli war on Iran in late February. New York Times correspondent Abdi Latif Tahir walked with the crowd that morning as it flowed toward the heart of the city, growing from streams into rivers and finally into one overwhelming current, so vast that individual movements seemed to dissolve into the mass itself. The Iranian government granted the Times access to the ceremonies, determining which events could be covered and assigning a translator and guide to accompany the reporting team throughout. The procession's endpoint, Azadi Square, carries its own layered history. Its central tower was commissioned by Iran's last monarch, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and was originally known as the Memorial of the Shah. After the 1979 Islamic Revolution, it was renamed Azadi, meaning freedom, a name that now bridges two very different eras of Iranian history. Around the square, the crowd reflected a cross-section of Iranian life. Parents lifted children onto their shoulders or pushed them in strollers. Young women chanted while filming continuously on their phones, sweeping over banners and moving crowds. Older men carried portraits of Khamenei. Groups of women marched together beneath a giant Iranian flag, chanting "Death to Israel" and "Down with Trump." At least one sign vowing revenge, written in Hebrew, was visible among the mourners. The scene was as much about sound as sight. Mournful music and elegies played without pause, while verses from the Quran blasted from loudspeakers across the square. Every few minutes, chants erupted in one section of the crowd, starting as a faint rumble indistinguishable from the general noise before spreading from one section to the next. From Tehran, Khamenei's body continues its journey. It travels next to Qom, Iran's center of religious learning, then to neighboring Iraq, which shares Iran's majority Shiite Muslim population. Finally, he will be buried in his hometown of Mashhad on Thursday. The procession marks the close of a national mourning period following one of the most dramatic events in Iran's recent history, the killing of its supreme leader at the start of a war with the United States and Israel. For now, Tehran's streets remain filled with grief, defiance, and the layered symbolism of a square that has witnessed both a monarchy's rise and a revolution's triumph. That's the scene from Tehran this week. Thanks for listening.